right, thanks so much for being with us here on Atlanta News First Plus. I'm Joy Lim-Nakrin here with Brooks Baptiste. And Brooks, anybody who's watching us right now is probably into social media to some extent. And one of the most popular social media apps could go away, could be banned.
Yeah, we're talking about TikTok here. So just some brand new information into the newsroom where we can tell you that the U.S. House actually voted on some legislation today regarding TikTok and banning it. So will that actually happen? Of course, that's yet to be decided right now. But I do want to just kind of fill you in on some of the information that we're learning, because this is something that even if you're not a big user of TikTok, maybe your child is, maybe they have friends who are avid users of TikTok. So the House, it's important to note, with bipartisan support in an overwhelming fashion on Wednesday, did pass that bill that could lead to a nationwide ban. And right now, I can tell you that the biggest conversation surrounding TikTok is not necessarily the content itself, but who owns TikTok. ByteDance, which is that Chinese-owned parent company for the social media platform, seems to have a lot of people more on edge because it's unknown what kind of information this company has access to. So that's been a bit of the concern as so many people are using it. Again, you probably have your children who use it. You might even have friends who use it. Your children have friends who use it. Nephews, aunts, everybody. A little bit of everybody probably uses it, or at least uses some of see some of the videos that go viral and whatnot on there. But again, the U.S. House has passed legislation that would potentially ban TikTok nationwide. Again, that's not going to happen just yet necessarily, but it essentially gives ByteDance, that Chinese-owned parent company, 5 months to separate in order for that app to still be available right here. But if that doesn't happen, Joy, then that means TikTok could be banned from nationwide devices.
I have a feeling that they're going to find a way to separate.
Yeah.
We'll see.
And and right now you've got a lot of legislators on both sides that are arguing, it's not just about the teens who happen to use it, but a lot of people actually make money.
Yeah.
They monetize content on there. So what's going to happen to them if they no longer have this? And Joy, I want to share this as well, because there's a new study that actually just found more than a third of teenagers think they spend too much time on their phones. Hear what I said. A third of teenagers think this, not their parents, because probably 100% of parents would say that their teens are using social media a little bit too much. But this is, again, a third of teenagers that think they spend too much time on their phones. That's according to this report that was published by the Pew Research Center. So these findings come amid continued concern over the use of social media among teens and its effect on mental health. You've got U.S. Surgeon General Vivek Murthy that just said last year that the age of 13, which is the minimum age to sign up for many social media platforms, is just way too young. A lot of people agree with that. But I think this is quite interesting, too. All but 5% of U.S. teens now have access to a smartphone. That was done in a separate study from December, but all but 5%. Meaning 95% of our young people, teenagers especially, in this study, have access to a smartphone and to social media. So, Joy, I'm just asking, we're not legislators, so we don't really control anything, but just always curious, do you think 13 is a little too young, or do you think that's about the right age?
Well, the thing is, I feel like kids should have phones because of emergencies.
Right.
Maybe they're after school practice or whatever, something could happen. But I feel like, maybe monitoring if social media, but it's tough. Teenagers are going to do what they want to do.
Right.
And especially 13 is a very tough age.
See, growing up, I had MySpace. And I will say this, there weren't some of the crazy things that I even see on social media today. They were not necessarily on MySpace. The worst that you would see is, maybe a little use of profanity. You were designing your profile, trying to make it what you wanted it to be. But now, there is a lot of content that is out there that maybe isn't suitable for such young eyes.
Yeah.
And I know that that's the main concern right now, because there have been studies that have shown that some of what our young people are seeing on social media could lead to depression, anxiety, a lot of the things that so many young people are dealing with right now. So I get it. I will be curious to see what happens with TikTok right now. Again, 5 months until they have to separate from ByteDance, which is that Chinese-owned parent company. Will TikTok still be around, or will we be finding another social media platform? I don't know.
All right, we're going to have to keep an eye out for that. Well, thank you so much, Brooks Baptiste. We'll look at those stories. I do have a warning for everyone, this one coming from Better Call Harry. So if you're thinking about having your pool renovated, building a pool, this is a story for you, okay? Some Georgia homeowners are saying that they are out tens of thousands of dollars after paying for new swimming pools that were never actually finished. Really a nightmare situation. Better Call Harry has more.
We've confirmed that there are at least half a dozen homeowners who paid tens of thousands of dollars for unfinished pools. Some of them paid over $100,000, and one contacted us because he says this has to stop.
I've given him $95,000.
Barry Ward paid $95,000 for a backyard oasis. His pool looks pretty good.
Stonework done.
But he says it's only because he hired other people to finish what his contractor did not. Ward says 4 months into the job, his contractor stopped coming. He got the shell of a pool, minus the equipment to operate it.
The equipment was the most expensive, though. $30,000 is what I paid for it.
That's on top of the $95,000 he paid his contractor and former business associate Preston Stevens of Cost Plus Pools. Stevens, seen here in a Fulton County mugshot, got arrested in August for allegedly stealing $22,000 from an Alpharetta customer.
Dates, names, addresses.
This is a list of Stevens' customers and Barry's too. That's how they met. Barry sells the rebar used for pool construction.
If it touches concrete, I sell it.
And he used this list to start his own investigation.
The minimum that I found that he has taken from somewhere is around $10,000.
What was the maximum?
$145,000.
He doesn't have to look far.
Right now, I'm at $30,600.
Barry's next-door neighbor did not want to be identified, but says he paid Stevens to rebuild his existing pool, and once again says he only got about half the work.
The guy represented himself well. He showed us some fantastic pictures. And
Preston was one of those guys, when it was completed, he was going to come over to the pool party.
Stevens has been in business for several years, but he does not have an actual business license. He and his company, Cost Plus Pools, are not registered with the Secretary of State.
I can't do a story without coming to you to get your side.
Mr. Stevens didn't have much to say when we called, but he did text us an explanation saying he had no intention of taking anyone's money, but things got out of my control. Prices, labor went up drastically, and a couple of projects pulled out because it was taking too long. Stevens is out of jail for alleged theft and could be charged, but it's only for the alleged $22,000 theft. Stevens says he wants to pay it back, but doesn't have the money. I'm Better Call Harry, Atlanta News First. We've confirmed that there are at least half a dozen homeowners.
All right. Thanks so much to Harry for that report. Let's talk about the upcoming St. Patrick's Day celebrations in Savannah. Thousands of people expected to attend one of the largest St. Patrick's Day celebrations in the country, right here in Georgia. So the city of Savannah announced some new measures to help keep people safe. Here's more from our affiliate, WTOC.
If you're heading to Savannah for St. Patrick's Day celebrations, you won't be alone. On top of SPD crews,
we're bringing in another 200 officers from outside agencies.
Hundreds of officers from across the state will be descending on the hostess city this weekend, making sure crowds stay safe. Savannah Police Department Sergeant Jason Pagliaro says daytime enforcements will focus on traffic woes, but after the sun goes down,
if you are out drinking and driving, you are probably going to get stopped.
GSP Nighthawks and heat units will be out in full force on area roads.
If you get stopped, it is costly. Do not drink and drive.
Police are also urging downtown pedestrians to stay alert and follow all traffic laws.
There's going to be a lot of people, a lot of cars, a lot of things like that down here.
Cars parked along the parade route will start being towed as early as 4 a.m. Saturday.
There's no way around it. We try to avoid it. We will try to make contact with you if we can.
As for those restaurants and bars, fire marshals from across the state will be checking that they aren't overcrowded.
Checking for occupancy loads in the establishments that will be operating. That will be needed for ingress and egress inside the facility and right on the outside of the front door of the facility.
All right, that story from our affiliate WTOC, much more on AtlantaNewsFirst.com on as you prepare for St. Patrick's Day, including your First Alert weather forecast. If you haven't yet done so, please download our free app to get updates sent right to your phone. Have a great day.